Hello, this is a quick look at the LEGO Star Wars The Mandalorian helmet. I got this for its retail price of $60 US, 60. It comes with 584 pieces, and I built it live over on Twitch. This is a relatively straightforward one. This is relatively traditional. Of course, it has many things in common, basic things basically in common with the Boba Fett helmet that they did rather early on in this series. And overall, it looks pretty much like the thing that it's supposed to represent. The things that I like most about this personally, at first glance, are the subtle angles to the sides. Just very subtle, very non-Lego-like, angles of the side plates are basically these whole sub-assemblies right here. And then also the depth and sculpting in the cheek sections. Like there's a lot of depth in there. It's all done studs out, construction wise, with stacks of mostly plates and tiles inside of there. Also uses some of the more recent additions to the LEGO wedge plate inventory. You also notice a fair amount of drum lacquered silver around this. So this here is all a strip of drum lacquered silver. Another strip here. Some of these bits in here, these tiles, are drum lacquered. And then also there's a stripe going all the way across the top. So you go around the rim right here and then all the way across the top. This whole ridge is all done with drum lacquered pieces. And that's nice. Could you ask for the whole thing to be drum lacquered? Absolutely. Would I have expected LEGO to do the whole thing drum lacquered? No, and especially not for a standard price or within the range of a standard price. Things that I immediately don't like about this include the width and lack of taper of this center section right here. So the black here, should taper down a little bit towards the base. It should have a subtle angle, just like these out here have a subtle angle. This should also have a subtle angle in, although I don't know exactly how they would have accomplished that. But when you compare it to the source material there, look at the amount of depth that there is here also, how thin the visor section gets towards the corner here, and just how tapered down this is here compared to the actual thing. Now I will say, and you can see it probably a little bit more clearly here. So proportionally, right, the center vertical black strip just is not right. I mean, that can be seen right here from these pictures. You don't even have to look at the real thing. But I think that at the very least, this should have been thinner in here to be closer to that. I will say that from some of the official pictures, there's a lot of shading on the sides of these angled panels, the cheek panels, that isn't quite as visible in the real thing in real life. Basically, the sides down here, these edges of the drum lacquered pieces and also the light gray inside of that, those tend to show up in shadow in some of the official pictures. And those made the center black ridge look even wider than it is in person. So in person, I think it actually looks better and more accurate than the marketing pictures, the dolled up marketing pictures, ironically. And again, the depth here, I really like the depth here. I also tend to not like what happened here with the switch between the drum lacquered bright silver and then the just plain light gray. And I can never get these to be exactly correct, but then also the dark gray against that. Something about this right here doesn't sit perfectly well with me. And then around the back, it looks a little bit plain, having that much just regular light gray and not having any more of the drum lacquering and the nice silver color in between. The top of the head is shaped really well. A lot of people don't like to see studs in LEGO at all. LEGO has made it very clear that they are not afraid of or ashamed of studs. And I personally don't mind this. And I know that the whole thing would have to have so many more pieces and cost so much in order to try to fill up some of those nooks and crannies with tiles. It would not have been worth it. Of course, down here on the stand, you have the standard printed plaque for this one, and the stand has its normal design, which has been fairly common to all of them. And this is securely connected here, as securely as could be reasonably asked. And finally, these are the leftover pieces, and there were no stickers in this set whatsoever. Again, this was $60 US, 60, and I do think that all of the helmet series sets are overpriced to some degree for the amount of stuff that you get, but there is a lot of variation in complexity of design and number of pieces from one to the next. And in the past, they have bumped up the price when you get more pieces and more complexity. So comparing this, for example, to the Dark Trooper helmet has a lot more complexity. It's a much more interesting design, and it has more pieces, but that one costs the same as this. So to me, this feels like it should have been like, even for Lego, it should have been a $50 set. I think that would have made more sense. I think that would have felt more fair to me for them to retail it at that price. You know, I feel like this should be one of the relatively cheap ones by today's standards, and I think it is more overpriced than the Dark Trooper helmet for that reason. Overall, it's not a bad thing. The design is not bad, given that it's made out of Lego. There are a few things that I would have preferred to see tweaked, but it's certainly more accurate than the minifig scale one that they do that has the visor extra thick, this extra wide, and the whole thing shifted way down on the face. I think that most casual observers will look at this and immediately know what it represents. So I think it's definitely in the ballpark. Just needs to be brought down in price. Thank you for watching, though. I will continue to bring you more reviews here and more builds on Twitch, and I'll talk to you again soon.